And just on that, public support for the royal family has fallen 7% now in 4 months because of this Andrew scandal. I'll take you through it. So every single member has had a downturn. Prince William's ratings have dropped 8 points. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, down 7. Princess Anne recorded the steepest fall, which I thought was interesting, down 9, while the King and Queen have seen smaller but still notable drops of 5 and 3 points respectively, and just 28% of people believe that the royal family have actually handled this Andrew situation well. What does that tell you?
Well, it is obviously a shame because I think most members of the royal family, as we know, work incredibly hard and are devoted to public service and duty. But in the same way that if a restaurant chain, has a food poisoning outbreak, the whole restaurant chain loses business for a bit. That tends to be what happens when something like this has occurred. And, we find the polls do fluctuate. I think looking at the long arc of history, Danica, which I'm always tempted to do with these sorts of situations, Queen Victoria, way back in the 1870s, the monarchy was very, very unpopular, far more unpopular than those polls today are indicating. People were even putting to let signs up on the gates of Buckingham Palace in the 1870s because they never saw Queen Victoria because she was secluded in her widowhood. And things bounced back from that. And what I would say is this, even if we had a president instead of a king, presidents' brothers can also be arrested. Presidents' family members can also get into trouble. It's not as though this is something that is unique to any one family. And the fact that it hasn't happened since the 1640s in this family, the royal family, perhaps means that it's less likely than in the average family because of how they're trained and how they're brought up. So I think particularly when it comes to Australia, the love that the King of Australia has for Australia, and the devotion that the royal family have shown for several generations now to the Commonwealth generally and to their duty, I hope that people will look at that and say, well, it's not as though it's going to be any different if we had a democratically elected. But we all know that our politicians are also very flawed people, and I say that as a politician myself.
Yes, I mean, look, you can't argue with that, right? We've all got our flaws, all of us. I mean, perhaps some more than others if we're talking about Andrew, but I absolutely take your point on that. Before we let you go, I just want to ask you about the fallout as well for the UK Labor Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And speaking of flaws, I would say there's a couple of there too. Of course, the Peter Mandelson scandal has been shocking for him. He still hired him as the US ambassador, even though he knew that he had links to Jeffrey Epstein. And now, of course, the Andrew allegations coming to light. Where does this leave him?
Oh, I think Keir Starmer's in real trouble. He is in major difficulties. And in fact, if this Andrew thing hadn't broken, he may well have fallen. We tend to get through prime ministers at quite a rate of knots here in the UK in recent years. Keir Starmer is clinging on for dear life at the moment. He's shown a number of missteps. And I think, the Peter Mandelson appointment as ambassador in the United States clearly has blown back on him in a big way. That isn't over yet. I think he's still got questions to answer. And we know that Parliament here in the UK, in London, has ordered a number of documents to be released. And they may produce further information about Keir Starmer's decision-making process, which may come back to bite him pretty hard. So I think he's flailing here, and the next 2 or 3 months are going to be quite instrumental because we have local elections, provincial elections here in the UK in early May, and the Labour Party are predicted to do very badly. So he's clinging on for dear life.
Yeah, it's astonishing that he managed to outlast the lettuce out of all of your prime ministers you've had in recent years. He's outlasted the lettuce. It's astonishing. Wow, what an incredible couple of days in the UK. And we're going to be continuing to watch this closely because, as you said, I mean, this is really just the start of it now, and we'll see where it goes. Sir Michael Ellis, a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Danica.